Hey y'all, today we are cooking a very simple yet delicious lunch slash dinner option. And the reason why I say it is very quick and easy, because once you cook the meat, once you get that out of the way, this meal takes about 5 minutes. And I'm calling it a beef slider. I want to call it a Philly cheesesteak slider, but not really, because I'm not using bell peppers, onions, the spices that you would normally put in a Philly cheesesteak. I'm not doing that. I'm just making beef sliders, and y'all, it is going to be so delicious. And with me being a working mom, food options like this really comes in handy, because who has time to be standing in a hot kitchen for hours after they get off work? I just do not. Once the meat is cooked, it only takes about 5 minutes to put this slider together, y'all. So that's why it's better to cook your meat ahead of time. That way it's already done, and all you have to do is warm it up and then warm up the Hawaiian sweet rolls. But since I didn't do that, and I have what time is it? I have like 30 minutes before I have to be at work. I'm fixing to go ahead and get this meat prepared. I'm going to go ahead and cook it. So by the time my lunch break rolls around, I'll be able to throw these sliders together. And that way, when I get off work today, I don't have to stand in that kitchen and cook. The kitchen will be closed. It's going to be every man for themselves. They're going to be eating these sliders or whatever else they find in this kitchen. But today we're going to go ahead and do these sliders. Check out how I put mine together. I have 3 sets of marinade, and that's because I'm doing a little meal prepping in addition to cooking. The mesquite grill marinade is for some chicken leg quarters that I grabbed when I picked up the roast beef. So now I'm just labeling the Ziploc bags with the marinade mix so that I'll know which marinade belongs to which meat. I bought those green food storage bag holders off of Amazon. These particular ones are no longer available, but I'm sure you can still find some similar to these on Amazon. I paid like $6 for a pack of 4. Y'all, they really come in handy when I need extra hands to hold something open. So for the marinade, I'm going to follow the instructions on the back of the packet. I'll need a 1/4 cup of water, a 1/4 cup of oil, 2 tablespoons of red wine or white vinegar, and meat. I don't have red wine in my pantry, but I do have white wine, and that's what I'm going to use instead of distilled vinegar. Hopefully that doesn't make too much of a difference. I'm hoping that it doesn't, because that's all I have right now. I mean, I do have distilled vinegar, but let's try this white wine vinegar and see what it's going to end up tasting like. Y'all, I can't remember the last time I used this flavor marinade. I always get the mesquite grill one, the same one that I use to marinate chicken. And I used to get smoky bacon until they discontinued it. But I mean, they all have your meat tasting next level, so you really can't go wrong with marinade. So now I'm just going to blend everything together by giving it a good shake. Here is the meat that I got from Joe V's. Y'all take a look at that. $6.06 for this big piece of meat. And I'm just going to give it a good wash, and then I'm going to place it in the marinade for a few hours. When I'm washing meat, I like to make sure that I get all of the nooks and crannies. And I also debated whether or not I should cut off that pad of fat that you see on the side of it, but I decided to leave it on there, and I'll just take it out during the cooking process. So now I'm just going to place the meat inside of the Ziploc bag, and I'm going to let it marinate in the refrigerator. I like to let it marinate for at least an hour, but since I am working, I'm going to keep it in the refrigerator for a few hours until my lunch break. So it should be sufficiently flavored by the time I take a lunch break today. Yeah, so I just want to make sure that I get the marinade all over the meat. The worst thing that could happen is you stick that meat in the marinade and the marinade mix doesn't touch the whole entire piece of meat. So that's why I'm giving it a good shake before I stick it in there. And y'all see that I put this meat in the wrong Ziploc bag, but that's okay. It's just a Ziploc bag. It's just a label. I can always change the name on the label. I mean, I can look at the meat and tell that it's not chicken. Y'all, I have to really sanitize this sink, and I'm going to use bleach every time I wash any type of meat. I really sanitize my sink using bleach. And then I'm going to follow up with an antibacterial spray from Method. But yeah, I make sure I clean everything. And y'all, with this bleach, I think I got some on my shirt because it does look a little bit different. I think some bleach splashed on my shirt and I really hate that. But the good thing is I made this shirt myself. So if necessary, I can go back and recreate this same exact shirt. I just hate that I got bleach on it. So, I mean, even with bleach on it, I can just, like I say, I can go back and remake this same shirt. So now I'm just using the bamboo scented Method cleaner. Y'all, this stuff smells so good. I had my middle son with me when I went to Target to get it, and he was not a huge fan of that scent. I mean, we stood there and smelled all of those scented cleaners, and to me, bamboo just smelled so clean and fresh. And I ended up getting the bamboo scented one. And so now I'm just giving it another wipe down after I've sprayed the bamboo on there. I'm very particular about how I clean my sinks, and I like to make sure that it's actually clean. So this is early in the morning. I started this process before I started my work day. So I try to multitask and get things done early in the morning before I start working. That way there's less for me to do when I get off work, and I can actually spend time with my family or have some me time when I get off work. Y'all, look at the shine on that sink. That sink is so clean. So now I'm just going to take some Hawaiian sweet rolls and cut the top half off, and then I'm going to place my meat. Well, I didn't even film me cooking the meat. Basically what I did with the meat is I seared it on all sides, and then I stuck it in the oven for about 2 hours. And after 2 hours, it was a little bit tough. So I took it out the oven, put it in a pot, and I poured the marinade mixture all over the meat inside the pot. And then I added a little water to cover it. I want my meat to be nice and tender. And cooking it in that oven was not making it tender. It was actually tough. So once I put it in the pot and then I let it cook for another hour in the pot with the marinade mix, that made it so soft and tender. So y'all can look at it and tell it is so soft and tender. So now I'm hand shredding the meat, and then I'm placing it onto the Hawaiian sweet rolls. Y'all, I want to call this a Philly cheesesteak slider, but it's missing key ingredients that would make it a Philly cheesesteak, like the bell peppers, the seasonings that you would use. With the Montreal marinade, I didn't need all of those extra seasonings because it seasoned this meat perfectly. So I think I'm just going to call this a slider because it's just a recipe that I made up without all the bells and whistles that you would normally use for a Philly cheesesteak sandwich. Let me know down in the comment section, have y'all made this before? Is this something that y'all normally eat? This is something that I don't remember making this, but I do know this is something that is quick and easy. And for the cheese, I'm going to use smoked Gouda. Now, I went back and forth with the type of cheese that I should use. I thought about American. I also had provolone. But since we have this smoked Gouda, we're going to be a little fancy today, y'all. And then next, I'm going to take some melted butter and brush it all over these dinner rolls. Y'all, these are going to be nice and buttery. The butter that I'm using is Kerrygold. Now, I don't know if y'all remember, if y'all even watch my grocery haul videos, I did mention that I'm trying to move away from that imperial butter because after I saw those ingredients, I was like, no ma'am, we cannot buy this butter. We cannot keep buying this. And the butter that I buy has like 2 to 3 ingredients, so I like that. The oven has already been preheated to 350 degrees, and I'm just going to stick them in there for about 5 minutes, just long enough for the cheese to melt. know I had to make some type of dessert to go along with these sliders, so I'm going to make these salted caramel brownies. I grabbed this box of salted caramel right after Christmas. That's when they put all of these on clearance, and I grabbed a truckload of them, y'all. So basically, I'm just following the instructions on the back of the packet, and they do have a small packet of caramel inside. I'm just going to add it to the bowl, blend it with this mixer, and then I'm going to put these in the oven for, I think it said about 33 to 36 minutes, but I do check it before the timer goes off just to make sure that it's not overdone, because I don't want burnt brownies. And this is how they turned out. I left a little bit of caramel just to drizzle over the brownies, and with them being hot, it's going to melt the caramel. Now that I'm finished cooking, let's see what Jordan thinks about today's meal. We got the Philly cheesesteak sliders, and so Jordan is going to try a Philly cheesesteak slider, and all you do is just grab and pull.
I'm hopefully hearing something I was Gordon Ramsay, because this looks really delicious. Let's see. There's a perfect pattern here. I don't want to ruin that, so I'm just going to take one from here so it can still look semi-okay. We look at that cheese. Oh, look at that cheesiness. I'm going to have to separate it, part it with force. Oh, okay.
It's real cheesy, isn't it?
It sure is. My favorite. I do like Hawaiian bread rolls and cheese, and I see I'm seeing a little bit of steak and beef in there.
Yeah, beef steak, yep.
Okay, well, from a perspective, or eye view perspective, this looks heavenly. I'm seeing some buttery goodness, a little bit of garlic on the top. It definitely looks like something I'd eat. Shoot, I might eat the entire thing right now. But
oh, it's missing something, isn't it?
Yeah, what's it missing?
The bottom.
You sure right. No, we can just scoop that on there. Yeah, apparently the bottom didn't want to come. Tongue twister. Didn't want to come together. This smells delicious, looks delicious. So without any yabbling, babbling, rambling, y'all know the gist. I'm just gonna bite this.
I think he likes it, y'all.
All right. Oh yeah, that's. Oh my God. Delicious. I love it. It's got the right amount of cheese, chewiness, and I definitely taste the beef there. All around a solid 10 out of 10. Yeah, no, there's not one bad thing I can say about it. It's good all around. I love it. So, that's another video. What Jordan's reviews and whatever you're cooking. What do you call this fine specimen of food?
It's like a slider. I would call it. I wouldn't say Philadelphia cheesecake slider because I didn't put all the bell peppers and onions and all the extra stuff in there. So it's just a beef slider with smoked Gouda, and it was marinated in Montreal steak sauce. So okay. It's delicious.
It is delicious. So. That's Jordan's reviews, and frankly, I don't think the rest of the family needs to eat these. I'm gonna just take these upstairs. Yeah, so y'all know what it is. Peace. That's our review.
That was Jordan's take on these beef sliders. I'm going to have to add this to the weekly meal plan because everybody seemed to love these, including me. It was so good, y'all. I normally meal prep all of my meats on Sundays, but I didn't get a chance to do that this past Sunday, so I ended up having to cook all of this stuff before I started my work day. But normally what I do is, like, say for instance I'm cooking spaghetti, I will cook all of my meats and vegetables and put that in the freezer until it's time for me to cook it later on in the week. So on my lunch break, all I have to do is warm up the meat, cook my pasta and add pasta sauce. So that's how I like to get ahead of the game on Sundays. I also like to, like when I'm making hamburgers, I also make the hamburger patties. I season it and then I form them into the shape of a patty. I wrap all of them in saran wrap and then I stick them in a Ziploc bag. So when it's time to cook hamburgers during the week, all I have to do is pull it out of the freezer and throw that thing in the skillet or on the grill if it's warm enough outside to grill burgers. But yeah, I like to meal prep on Sundays because that saves a lot of time during the week. When I try to save time when I can, my time is precious and I try to save as much of it as I can. So if I can do little things here and there to give me more time during the week, then I'm going to do that so that I can spend more time with my family or spend more time with myself, or whatever it is I need to do. So yeah, that was a very quick and easy lunch/dinner idea. Y'all stay tuned for this Sunday's soul food dinner. It is going to be a good one, y'all. I pray that you all have an amazing day. We will chit chat in the next one. Talk to you later. Bye.